We need to talk about Eric Adams because this, we obviously told you yesterday that he had been indicted. And so um, later on in the day, the charges came out, everything was unsealed, the announcement was made. And now, of course, there's a lot of chitter chatter about it. And even yesterday, before we really knew all the details, there were questions. There was like, this seems very suspiciously timed, considering that he was the one that spoke out so much against Biden's immigrant stuff.
Yep.
And so, there a lot of people were questioning, is this payback? What's going on here? And so there's a lot of different angles to get into, but we'll first hear about the charges themselves from the lawyers that actually filed the paperwork and made the announcement.
Today, we are announcing campaign finance, bribery, and conspiracy charges against Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City. As the indictment alleges, Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal, and even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities.
I'm bored.
The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark.
As alleged, the mayor's 2021 campaign falsely certified compliance with campaign finance laws in order to conceal those illegal campaign contributions, and as a result of those false certifications, received over $10 million in public matching funds.
I don't care. Should I care about this? I mean, because
you should, because anytime there's corruption in government,
all right, I should care. Okay, I care. But I mean, I'm pissed off because it's selective moral outrage and selective indictments. Because do the Bidens, do the Clintons, do Pelosi, there's like a gajillion people that have done this for way more than $100,000. So why don't you do them? Do them.
Well, and again, are we going to have Merrick Garland coming out and saying, why don't you trust us? Why?
Oh
what is it?
I get so tired of this.
What?
Yeah, it's like, why do some people get away with it and then some people don't?
Well, that is a huge question. And that's why there's all the suspicion about the rationale behind all this. So I think two things can be true at the same time. He can be guilty of sin.
Totally.
And also targeted by an angry DOJ, angry Biden for getting in the way of his policies.
Yeah.
So I think both of those things are likely true, but this is what you're seeing on the screen now is just the 5 different counts that included conspiracy to commit wire fraud, actual wire fraud, solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national. I guess there's 2 counts of that, and then bribery. And so those are the counts. And then he, of course, is claiming I'm a target. This is all super unfair. That's what the cover of the New York Post said. So he's saying this is total payback for me complaining about the migrant crisis.
Which is also true.
But
you did the things.
But you did the things.
My point is, indict them all.
Exactly.
Indict
Don't
them all.
just pick and choose just based on who you're mad at.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like the Elmo meme with the fire in the background. I'm just like, that's how I feel about all this. Just indict them all. Like drain the whole damn swamp. Just drain everything. Indict every single one of these.
Because there's so much corruption.
So much. There's so much. This is just like a tiny bit. And they're like, let's just pick on this guy, which he deserves it. But
so do a million other people.
So many others that have been sucking off the taxpayer teat for decades. And they're so loaded because of it. Oh my God, so loaded. And then they're like, we're just going to turn a blind eye to that person. Why? Why do they get the blind eye? Why? I have questions.
Well, and then a lot of people were saying this is extra super targeted because of some of these costs, right? Or the expenses that he got paid for, the flights, the upgrades, everything was so nickel and dimey throughout the actual filing that it just seemed like you guys are really, really reaching here.
Stretching.
Yeah, it just seemed like a bit of a stretch. And that's what Jeanine Pirro's point was yesterday on The 5.
Incompetence were the reason to indict a mayor. Bill de Blasio should have been indicted last year. Let me tell you something about the problem with the weaponization of the Department of Justice, which is the department behind this indictment. Once they start weaponizing against political opponents, you then question, even someone like me will question whether or not this is something that was motivated based upon the fact that Mayor Adams was critical of the White House because of the migrants. And I thought the same thing that Donald Trump did last year. Let me tell you something. I was a public official, and you have to sign a disclosure every year. I mean, what did you get a gift for $75? What most of this indictment is about is, oh, instead of economy class, they put them in first class. And you know what? That's worth $15,000. I don't like the straw donors. I don't like the fact that, you know, they got money in, that there was a match in New York City. That's a problem. But this whole thing with the New York City Fire Department, apparently there was a skyscraper and the Turkish consulate wanted to get into the skyscraper, and it hadn't yet passed fire safety inspection. So what does Adams do? He says, look, can you move it along? Now, maybe they were about to do it the next day. I don't know. Maybe there was something wrong. I don't know. But you know what? There's a smell to this indictment. And as a DA and a prosecutor, I hate saying it, but it's true.
All right. One more.
Points duly noted. I think she's probably right.
I think she's right. Well, and it speaks to just the nature of the culture right now, where we just don't trust anything that our government is doing at all.
And I also believe, like she said, that it is weaponized. Do I think he's a douche canoe? Yeah, totally. Do I think that he did some bad things? Of course he did. But it's selective. It's all selective indictments, selective moral outrage. I'm just so tired of it. And and then Garland will get up on a stage and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you think that we're being selective. Up yours, dude.
I think they think that because Adams is a Democrat, it gives them cover somehow.
No.
But it falls apart when you realize that he has been so outspoken, first of all, not only about the illegals, but also about being pro-Israel.
Right.
And so those are two things that I don't think this administration looks favorably upon.
Yeah, it's like you're not towing the line. Off with your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jesse Kelly tweeted this. He said, the DOJ has so destroyed the trust of the American people that they can indict the Democrat mayor of Democrat-run New York. And most of us are all like, yeah, this is revenge for something. Wonder what the real story is. And
exactly.
That's the problem. That is
it's a huge problem. It's like we need to clean house and drain the swamp in so many places, including the DOJ.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, do they ever need to clean out? But back to the charges, there is some sketch stuff going on for sure. So the mayor placed several Turkish agents in various positions inside of his administration in exchange for tens of thousands of dollars in bribes from the Muslim Brotherhood-tied Turkish government. Of course, that's not good.
Nope.
And there was this weird thing where his senior staffer, during an interview with the FBI, excused herself to go to the bathroom, and while there, she deleted the messaging app that she used to communicate with the mayor and the Turkish agents who had been bribing him. So that, of course, does not look good.
Well, what do we think that Zelensky's doing?
Oh my God, of course.
I mean, it's like that to me is just like one big giant bribe. He's basically like, oh, I endorse Kamala for president. And then they turn around and give him like billions of dollars of our money. What is that not a bribe? I mean, I feel like what's the difference? I don't see what the difference is. Somebody's gonna have to explain this to me in child terms, because I don't see I feel like that's indictable, isn't it? Because that's my money. That's mine. That's your money. It's so irritating, all of this. And then they're gonna clutch their pearls and be like, oh my God, what this mayor did is so terrible. He should.
It's AOC saying he needs to resign.
God, shut up. Take all the seats.
There was also this weird thing where part of the indictment, apparently he had like a whole bunch of different phones, and then he had changed his personal cell phone code, the little passcode that you can set to open it. He had changed it from a 4-number code to a 6-number code. And then when they took the phone from him, he said he couldn't remember the 6-number code, and he'd forgotten it. And the only reason that he had reset it is because he wanted to make sure that nothing by his staff got inadvertently deleted. Like, it's all
Okay.
so shady.
So sketch.
So freaking shady.
God.
So I think it was Martha McCallum who had Andy McCarthy on to talk about the charges and how either flimsy they are or how good they are. So here is Andy on that.
Some people who've looked at these, Andy, and I know you've just laid out how thorough it is, question whether or not, how serious some of this is, that it's not unusual, you just heard his attorney, for a consulate to call the mayor's office and ask if they can expedite something for them, claims his attorney, and that it's not unusual to get upgrades on flights and hotels.
Well, that didn't sound like a defense. That sounded more to me like mitigation, those comments. I mean, he really wasn't asking them. He wasn't asking them to, do a favor to put me on the top of the pile. He was basically saying, approve a high-rise building that can't pass its safety inspection. And I think the big thing here, Martha, with respect to all the people you talked about, is these are officials that are very close to Adams, a number of whom are cooperating with the investigation.
Interesting.
Why was she borrowing Stephanie Rule's outfit for that segment? Why did she do that?
I didn't even notice that. I was too busy thinking her hair looked really nice.
Yeah, it does look nice. But her outfit was Stephanie Rule's actual dress.
Oh my gosh. The dress that she's worn now in two different interviews.
Yeah. We're watching you, Stephanie.